This video couldn't happen without those you supporting me on Patreon, including the big patrons of this month, the Nerd Therapist and Xavius. Okay, I did this video a whole generation ago, and my goodness, I got a lot of slack for it. So here I am, just trying it again. Hey Pokemon Masters, Bulky with Toby here, and the big question of today is, how many Pokemon are there? From Generation 1 to Generation 7, how many Pokemon actually exist? How many are catchable? And you might be thinking, Toby, we know how many Pokemon there are. Melmetal is number 809, and that's certainly what I'm counting on. It is a Generation 7 Pokemon, not Gen 8. As far as we all know, that's the case. How many Pokemon exist? Is it just 809? Because what about all the Alolan forms and variants, different forms, Mega Evolution? What about shiny Pokemon? How many actually are there? You might think this is a really simple task of just taking the amount of Pokemon there are and then doubling the number. There's all the Pokemon, there's all the shiny, but then you've got all those form variations. How do they all come into it? And what about shiny locked Pokemon? What about Pokemon with multiple forms? How many shinies are there? And how many different forms actually are there really? What about the forms that are only accessible in battle? This is a video that I did at the end of Generation 6, and I actually got a lot of slack for it because I decided to really keep the parameters quite wide. I said I'm going to go for every Pokemon that you can get from Generation 1 to Generation 6, everything that's obtainable in Generation 6. But then I also included Ditto and all of Ditto's transformations as different forms. And because it's not just Ditto that can learn transform, there's also Mew, you can also get it with Smeargle, and Zorua and Zoroark can appear as other Pokemon as illusions. The number got quite high and people were like, you shouldn't have included the Ditto form. So for this video, I'm not going to do that. I'm also not going to be adding in all of the variations of Spinder because there is over 4 billion of those. And that's just the non-shinies. So we're going to be working with a more reasonable kind of number today. I'm also not going to be doing the math so much on screen because my editor, Brett, who has been helping me with the math whenever I've been making verbal math mistakes. Thank you, Brett. We all know that you're there. Cheers for the numbers on the screen. So for this video, I called Brett, one, so I could double check the maths, but also because Brett's partner, Zach, actually studies maths at university. So thank you to both of you for helping me out with this video. The numbers should be 100% accurate, unless we've missed any forms of Pokemon, in which case, whoopsie. Also, as usual, a massive thank you to Cerebi.net for being just a wonderful resource for any of this kind of information. There's a whole page on all the different forms, and there's all sorts of different forms. There's true forms, there's minor forms, and I guess the first thing to do is tell you, what exactly are we including? Anything that would be conventionally included as a Pokemon form that you would think of that can be stored in Pokemon Bank, that we're including. Anything that needs a held item to transform, that we're including. Anything that's in battle, you might not consider this a form, but any of the changes like when Solgaleo or Lunala have their kind of battle mode form that just happens when they're using a certain attack. White and Black Kyurem also have one of those. Marth Shadow has one called the Zenith mode. I'm considering those alternate forms as well. And as well as that, I'm not just including Pokemon that are available in this generation, I'm also including Pokemon that were available in previous generations that haven't been able to be traded up. So first of all, let's just go down the generic list. Pokemon with alternate forms. In the current generation, there is Deoxys, the Unknown, the Ashcat Pikachus, Burmy, Wormadam, Shellos, Gastrodon, Rotom, Shaman, Basculin, Deerling, Sawsbuck, Tornadus, Thundurus, Landorus, Keldeo, Vivillon. Am I saying that right? I never know if I'm saying that right. Vivillon. Flabebe, Floette, Florges. Again, another one I really struggle with the pronunciation of Florges. Florgus? Florgus. Sounds very fungal. Furfrou, Pumpkaboo, Gourgeist, Zygarde, Oricorio, Lycanroc, Minior, Ashgreninja, Giratina, Darmanitan, Kyurem, Meloetta, Aegislash, Wishiwashi, Necrozma, Castform, Arceus, and Silvally. All of these Pokemon are counted as Pokemon that have additional forms. They each have different amounts, and I've already added them up on my papers. On top of that, some interesting things to note here. Minior has several different forms. It doesn't just have all the different colored cores, but it also has the version that's in its kind of protected mode. The Shield Up form, where it's protecting itself, and the Shield Up form is the same across all of the forms, but obviously all their cores are different colors. There's also the in-battle modes of White and Black Kyurem, Solgaleo Lunala, and Zenith mode Marshadow. As well as that, one you might not think of or realize is that Xerneas has an additional form, which is really weird. There's the active mode and then the inactive mode. The inactive mode is rubbish. The active mode, the box art, it looks really cool. Why isn't it always like that? Also, Mimikyu technically has two forms because it has when it's got its disguise up and disguise down. Genesect has different forms depending on what drives it's holding. It's just the color of the drive is different. There's no difference really to Arceus or Silvally holding their different items. And finally, there's some Pokemon that you can't really get in this generation anymore that you could get in previous generations. For example, the spiky-eared or notched-eared Pichu, as well as all the cosplay Pikachus. And Shadow Lugia. I'm counting Shadow Lugia. I know it's kind of a side game, but it's also like a big RPG. I'm also gonna count the female partner Eevee from Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, because I'm also counting all 98 gender variants. On top of that, there's some other big additions. We've got Alolan forms, Mega Evolution, Primal Reversion, and finally, Totem Pokemon. Oh, and one of those totems is a Mimikyu, so that also has an additional form. Now, once you've got all of those Pokemon and you've got that number, you just double it. And I'd love to tell you what the number is, but I actually don't have that number written down anymore. Sorry about that. My notes are a mess. But what I can tell you is then you have to start minusing some Pokemon, because some Pokemon are shiny locked. 6 out of the 7 Ashcat Pikachus are all shiny locked. All of the cosplay Pikachus are shiny locked. Shadow Lugia can't be shiny. I mean, it can be once it's purified, but when you catch it, it can't be shiny. 2 out of the many Vivillon, am I still saying it right? Vivillon? I'm just gonna look it up, I guess. It's really what I should do before making the videos. Vivillon. Yeah. Proud of self. 2 of those are shiny locked because they're special event ones. Meloetta is shiny locked. All of the Necrozma variants are shiny locked. All of the Minior cores, they're not shiny locked, but it's a slightly smaller number because all of the Minior cores share the same shiny. Totem Pokemon can't be shiny, as well as that the partner Eevee from Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee can't be shiny. Ash Greninja can't be shiny. The spiky-eared Pichu, that can't be shiny. You actually need a shiny Pichu to get the spiky-eared Pichu. And on top of that, currently unavailable is a shiny Victini. You can't get shiny Hoopa. By the way, I forgot to mention that Hoopa also has a form. We did include that in the maths. Don't worry. Shiny Volcanion, Tapu Bulu, Tapu Fini, Cosmog, Cosmoem, Solgaleo, Lunana, all of their forms. Obviously Necrozma. Magearna can't be shiny. Zeraora, Meltan, and Melmetal.
Hi there, Brett the editor. Meltan and Melmetal can now be shiny. They've been patched into the game, so ignore this bit and we'll add 2 on to the end.
None of them can be shiny yet. We don't have access to those things. So you could like minus a whole bunch just because of that. It's also worth noting something else I didn't mention that we added was all of the different Arbok variants. Across the different generations, you can get different forms of Arbok that just have slightly different hood patterns. And when the maths has been done, and the maths has been done, editor can confirm. Thanks, Brett. The final number that we have is 2,329 different variants of Pokemon. Now, this will all fit on your Pokemon bank, although granted, some of them you can't take out of battle. And previously, like I say, I would have included, like last time I did this back at the end of Generation 6, I would have included quite a few more Pokemon. I would have said that a Ditto transforming into any of these Pokemon, that counts, because Ditto keeps its Ditto face, but it doesn't keep its Ditto face in the games. It's only really in the anime, and there are a lot more forms in the anime. In fact, if you want to know about all the different Pokemon forms and variations, you can see my evolution tree video about that. And of course, if you include Ditto transformations, you also sort of have to include Mew transformations and Smeargle transformations, and actually in the older generations, I believe more Pokemon could use transform through using assist, so it would be an even higher number, plus Zoroark and Zoroark's, their ability to appear as other Pokemon using the illusion. And on top of that, of course, the big thing that we're not including is Spinder forms, because boy oh boy, there are nearly 4 billion variants of that, and then with the shinies, 8 billion. And then with Ditto transforming into them, that's why people gave me slack last time. 2,329. How close are you to catching and accessing everything? Have you been doing a Living or Master Dex challenge? And maybe next generation we'll just hope for about 100, 150. That'd be good. I hope you are all having a fantastic day wherever you are. Thank you again to Brett and Zach for helping me out with this video, and of course the wonderful resource that is SarahB.net. And of course, Soul High Pokemon Masters.
This is Ash Ketchum. You just watched a video by Birdkeeper Toby. That makes you a Pokemon Master.